So we take the clarity frame and the buyer situation. Buyer says, I'm not sure if it's a good time to buy. I'm just not sure. And when people are saying not sure, they're not saying I'm not desiring. I'm not saying no. I'm not sure. I remember my old pattern. I used to would say, when somebody says I'm not sure, well, what would have to happen to make sure that you would be sure? Like in your embedding the word sure. See, the objective right now is just to dissolve confusion by anchoring certainty. That's the team. So I totally understand that you want to make the right decision. As Dan says, that's a truism. I want you to make the right decision. I totally understand it. And here's what I know. Uncertainty stops people from moving forward, but clarity creates confidence. So let's get clear on the numbers. Let's get clear on the option. Let's get clear on what's possible for you today. The truth is, the best time to buy isn't about the market. It's about when you're ready, financially and emotionally. And the good news is, you don't have to figure it out alone. So let's break it down. What's affordability looks like for you so you can move forward with clarity and not hesitation.
This is a content-free objection handling, which means that there's actually no talk about price. There's no talk about anything we've talked about before, interest rates, monthly payment. It's only a conversation when somebody uses the words, I'm just not sure. Anything that when they have doubt, the only thing that we're talking about is the benefit of clarity and certainty over doubt and confusion. And if you look at this whole script from top to bottom, you're dealing with them at really the appropriate level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand you want to make the right decision. And here's what I know, and I would touch
Yeah.
my chest right there and I would say, here's what here's what I know
Yeah.
is that uncertainty stops people from moving forward, but clarity creates confidence. That's another truism. Uncertainty stops all people all the time from moving forward. But clarity creates confidence. And let's get clear on the numbers. Let's get clear on the options. And let's get clear on what's possible for you today. That's a language pattern that Joe uses. You'll notice we say here, let's get clear on the numbers, comma, the options, comma, and what's possible today. And when Joe speaks to you, he'll usually not throw out those important words like, hey, you know what? Let's get clear on the numbers and let's get clear on the options and really let's get clear on what's possible for you today. We'll usually not throw out those get clear, become clear, get some clarity around just the important words here on they need to hear over and over again are let's get clear. Let's find some clarity. Let's know what the truth is because the best time to buy isn't about the market. It's about when you're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready financially. You feel good emotionally. And the good news is you don't have to figure this out alone. Let's break down what affordability looks like to you so you can move forward with clarity, not hesitation.
Yeah, Dan, just the words not sure. When anybody says, I'm not sure what to do, what they're actually saying is I'm inviting you to be my leader. I need some certainty right now. I need some clarity, and I'm not sure. Are you sure? What are you sure about? And even when somebody says, I'm not sure, you might actually frame it as, well, let me share with you about what I am sure about. What I'm sure about is that once you get clarity on the numbers, what I'm sure about is once you get clarity on your options, what I'm sure about is when you get clarity on what's possible, you'll look for a way, not alone, but together to find your dream come true or your 5, 6, and 7. So again, we'll just take a little deeper dive into the NLP concepts and talk. Then let's talk a little bit about pacing, leading, meta
Yeah.
modeling, and emotional shifts.
Yeah, pacing and leading is something that's core to what Joe and I teach you about using language to your benefit. And every one of the scripts we've looked at so far have had pacing and leading. And what pacing and leading means is agree before you attempt to move forward. And it's not actually fake agreement. It's not one agreement for moving forward. It's a lot of agreement in pacing before you do that. So earlier, as we're demonstrating the dialogues, and we said, I totally get it. Joe said, make sure you land on authentically, sincerely, like you actually really do get it. I get it. And the rule of thumb for pacing and leading is if you can agree with three things before you make a single suggestion, we call it pace, 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 lead. A lot like when Joe talks about Gary Vaynerchuk and Vanderchuk, and he says, give, 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 ask. It's always starts with a 3-to-1 ratio, by acknowledging, by validating the client's uncertainty. And then you gently suggest and lead and guide them to the direction that will serve them better. Not my direction, but the direction that actually serves them better. And then you've got the meta model of shifting this again from good time to a good emotional state or a good emotional shift. It's not about the time, it's about focusing on numbers, it's about focusing on options, it's about possibilities, not good time or not a good time is binary. It's black and white. It's on and off. And what we're doing is we're suggesting really just uncovering possibilities and options are more important than shutting anything down. And then finally, the emotional shift is Joe, could you go back up to the script one more time? I just want to like that last sentence right there is really so important. Is like, the truth is the best time to buy is not about the market. It's about when, and I'm going to embed these words. I'm going to pause right there and I'm going to say, it's about when you're ready. And I'm going to change my tone and I'm actually going to consult them from a position of where I want them to subconsciously hear the words, you're ready. It's not about this. It's about when you're ready, when you're financially ready, you're emotionally ready. And the
Yeah.
good news is you don't have to figure this out alone. Let's break it down together, right?
That's the
The,
good news. The good news. You know,
yeah, and the good news, yeah, and the good news is you don't have to do this alone.
yeah.
So, and that's the pacing and leading, that's the meta pattern, and that's the emotions over mind, right? And that's something that I argue with myself every day. And for 20 years, Joe has reminded me that it's always about emotions over logic.
Mhm.
Always.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think we'll stop there. We got
Yeah.
we got 6 or 7.